Hello, Dr. James Bogash, expert in health longevity, and as a practicing chiropractor who sees lots of headache patients and the author of a book on migraines and epilepsy, this particular study really just jives with what I promote to my patients and in my book. And it has everything to do with chronic migraines, and the problem is that people think that they can't be cured, and cured is always a dicey word in these, in medicine. You can't cure diabetes, you can't cure migraines, you can't cure seizures. The reality is, if you make the right lifestyle changes, everything can get better. And in medicine, generally, if we numb the brain enough to where headaches are reduced, not necessarily eliminated, but reduced, we all kind of high-five each other and pat each other in the back, and we think we did a good job, but we didn't actually fix anything. And that's always the problem. With migraines, there are two underlying premises. First of all is blood vessel health, so endothelial dysfunction, and mitochondrial dysfunction. Those are very tightly tied into the whole pre-diabetic scenario. The more pre-diabetic somebody is, the more likely they are to have migrainous headaches. And so this study, a small study looking at 25 or 23 people, did a combination of Mediterranean and ketogenic diet. Now, ketogenic diet has been used it was really one of the first treatments for epilepsy back around the last turn of the century. And it's gotten a lot of, it's now the cool in thing to do for weight loss and everything. But the reality is the ketogenic diet has some challenges that make long-term use a problem. However, if we have brain problems like migraines or epilepsy, it certainly makes sense to use an approach that we have to kind of use some things like magnesium, managing constipation. Those things need to be addressed, but it's worth it given the positive impacts on the brain. So you can imagine the Mediterranean diet is fresh fruits and vegetables, olive oil, wild caught fish, everything that you would think of that would, like Greece, Italy, those kind of things. But it also includes a lot of pasta. And so the ketogenic diet cuts out some of that. So you've got all the aspects of the Mediterranean diet with a lower carb approach. Certainly not that hard to argue that this is a good approach for managing prediabetes, for managing diabetes, and for protecting the brain. So sure enough, in this study, they monitored people at 4 weeks and 8 weeks. They had a pretty dramatic drop in their migraine days from 17 days to 3 days per month. Like, that's a huge drop. Like, headaches suck. And if you can go from 17 days, like over half the month, to 3 days, that's a huge change from diet alone. That shows how powerful lifestyle is. The intensity went from 8.4 down to 3.6. So not only were they having them less frequently, but when they had them, they were less severe. Also, there were some improvements in body composition like fat mass and waist to hip ratio. All good things happened with this approach. So this approach, first of all, helps push back against prediabetes, and that thereby blood vessel health, but also the Mediterranean diet is loaded with phytonutrients that are good for the mitochondria. It helps with mitochondrial dysfunction and for the brain to generate more energy, which we need a lot of to help fight off migraines and epilepsy. So all kinds of good things with not really a downside to this, and no medication side effects. It's just dietary changes. There's not a medication on the planet that can drop 17 to 3 days without side effects. So, as always, I will post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody who you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel.